All right, let's just jump straight into it. We're going to break down the secrets to making money and doing it a whole lot faster. If you've ever felt like you're stuck in the slow lane while other people are flying by, well, this is for you.
So let me just ask you point blank. Do you want to build wealth faster than pretty much everyone you know? The big idea here is that there's a game being played, and most people, well, they just don't understand that the #1 rule is speed.
And this right here is the fundamental truth of the whole thing. Money loves speed. It's not just about hard work, it's not just about being smart, it's about how fast you learn, how fast you decide, and how fast you act. This is the one thing you absolutely cannot ignore. To get that kind of speed, we have to start with the foundation. And that foundation is all in your head. It's your inner game, your mindset. See, before you can act fast, you've got to think fast. And you've got to think in the right way.
I mean, let that one sink in for a second. This totally flips the script on what failure is. The real enemy isn't messing up, it's being so scared of messing up that you never even start. It's the hesitation, the not trying, that keeps people exactly where they are.
And this lays it out perfectly. You've got two paths. On one path, when you take a risk, one of two things happens. You either win or you learn. Either way, you're moving forward. You're never starting from scratch again. The person who plays it safe, they never even take the first step. They lose by default every single time.
And that brings us to something called the cost of ignorance. This is huge. The biggest expense you have isn't your rent or your car payment. It's the massive invisible gap between what you're making now and what you could be making if you just knew a few key things. That gap, that's what's really costing you.
So the game becomes about closing that gap as fast as humanly possible. And there are really only two ways to do it. You either find a mentor, someone who's already done it, and you pay for their shortcut, or you jump in, get your hands dirty, and pay for the lessons with your own mistakes and your own time.
You know, a huge piece of this comes down to the story you tell yourself. The loser mindset is always stuck in the past, talking about what other people did to them. But the winner mindset, they're always focused on the future. They ask, okay, what am I going to do now? It's like life is a video game, and they hit the reset button every single morning.
Okay, so once that mindset is locked in, it's time to fire up the engine. And the engine is focused, decisive action. This is where all that good thinking turns into actual, real-world momentum.
Just think about that for a second. Where do you really waste time? It's almost never when you're actually doing the work. It's in the hours, the days, sometimes even weeks of agonizing and debating, just thinking about doing the work. Indecision is the silent killer of dreams.
So here's a fantastic little mind trick to help you make decisions faster. That little voice in your head, the one that's always full of doubt and fear, give it a name. Let's call him Somchai. When you give it a name, you separate it from yourself. So you can just go, that's just Somchai talking again, trying to keep me safe and slow. It makes it way easier to just thank him for his input and then do the thing anyway.
All right, so you've decided to act, but what do you act on? So many people get caught in this jack-of-all-trades trap. It feels good for the ego, right? To say, oh, I can do a little bit of everything, but it's terrible for your bank account. The master, on the other hand, does one thing and becomes the best in the world at it. That's where the real money is.
So how do you become a master? Well, it starts with obsession. You got to be all in. But here's the secret sauce that most people just can't stomach. You have to learn to love, or at least tolerate, the boredom of doing the same thing over and over and over again.
Seriously, mastery is not glamorous most of the time. A pro athlete is just practicing the same shot for hours on end. A world-class speaker is rehearsing in an empty room talking to themselves. Success is built in those quiet, repetitive, and kind of boring moments.
All right, you've got the mindset. You're taking focused action. Now it's time for the top of the pyramid, strategy. This is the accelerator. This is how you take all that hard work and multiply its results by 10 or even 100.
You know, one of the biggest strategic mistakes people make is chasing connections. They go to networking events, collect a stack of business cards, and think they're making progress. That's completely backwards. The real strategy is to stop chasing and start building your own value. Become so good at what you do that you are the person everyone else wants to meet.
It's really that simple. When you are genuinely great at something, the right people and the best opportunities, they find you. You don't have to go knocking on doors, because the doors just start to open for you. Your job is to build the key.
This quote is such a powerful way to think about things. We all get the same 24 hours in a day, the same 365 days in a year. You can spend that time solving a tiny problem for a tiny reward, Or you can aim higher and use that exact same amount of time to solve a massive problem for a massive reward. So why not go for the bigger problem?
And this idea leads us straight to the 80-20 rule. This is a core part of any smart strategy. The idea is simple. In pretty much everything, 80% of your results come from just 20% of your efforts. Your job is to figure out what that vital 20% is.
And this just makes it crystal clear, right? That little sliver of important work is what's driving almost all of the good stuff. The secret to working smart isn't doing less, it's about focusing all your firepower on just that 20%.
But here is the ultimate twist that brings it all together. Everybody says work smart, not hard. And that's only half right. The real secret, the thing that actually gets results, is to first work smart to find that critical 20% and then work your butt off on only that. This is where the magic happens. Once you've found that key thing that works, you don't just keep doing it. You scale it. You pour gasoline on that fire. You take that 20 and you multiply it to 200, then to 2,000. This is how you get exponential growth.
And that right there is what it really means. It's the perfect marriage of intelligent, focused strategy and just relentless hard work. It's not one or the other, it's the powerful combination of both.
So, let's bring all this back down to earth, back to you, right now. We've talked a lot about speed and decision-making, so my question is simple. What is the one thing you've been putting off, the one thing you've been hesitating on that you will decide on today? Make that decision your first step.